The radio call came through fractured and urgent at 0847. Echo 6 to any unit. We are taking precision fire from multiple directions. 3 wounded. We can't move. No visual on the shooters. They're ghosting us. They're everywhere. Captain Reed Morrison's voice broke with strain as another round slammed through the wall behind him, missing his head by inches. In the Tactical Operations Center 15 miles out, Lieutenant Colonel Dana Reyes stared at the digital map showing Echo Company pinned down in Al-Dara, northern Iraq, unable to push forward or fall back, bleeding from wounds they couldn't see coming. "Where the hell are these shooters?" she asked. The intel officer pulled up thermal imagery. "Ma'am, we register at least 6 enemy snipers in elevated positions covering the whole intersection. They've established interlocking fields of fire, textbook positioning, military-grade optics. This isn't ISIS. These are trained pros, Syrian special forces or Russian contractors, maybe both." Reyes's jaw tightened. "Counter-sniper assets? We've got 3 Marine Scout snipers in the area, ma'am, but they've been trying for 40 minutes. These shooters are too skilled. Every time our guys take a position, they get shot and must displace. We can't get a beat on them." Another transmission. "Echo 6, another man down, leg shot, heavy bleeding. We need those snipers gone now or we're all dead." Reyes looked at the only person in the room who hadn't spoken yet. Staff Sergeant Laura Quinn sat quiet at a corner station, studying the tactical feed with the same focused intensity someone uses when reading a map before a long hike. 26 years old, 5'6", compact and athletic, dark hair pulled into a tight regulation bun, brown eyes that missed nothing, her face blank, unreadable. She'd been attached to the talk as a special operations observer, unit and background classified so deep even Reyes only knew she was a sniper with an extraordinary resume. Reyes said, "You've been watching. What do you think?" Lara stood, walked to the tactical screen, scanned it for exactly 8 seconds, then faced the colonel. "Ma'am, those enemy snipers are skilled, disciplined, professional. They're using a textbook multi-sniper overwatch pattern, probably Russian-trained. Definitely not amateurs," she paused. "But they're not invincible. They're used to fighting people who don't know how to hunt snipers." Reyes leaned in. "Can you stop them?" Lara's face didn't change. "Yes, ma'am, all 6. Give me 18 minutes." The room dropped silent. Finally, Reyes spoke. 18 minutes. Staff Sergeant, 3 Marine Scout snipers have been trying nearly an hour." "With respect, ma'am, I'm not a Marine Scout sniper," Lara replied, already moving for the door. "I need immediate high-low transport to grid November 74th, rifle and optics from the armory, and direct comms to Echo 6 so I can coordinate. Clock starts when I'm on the ground." Reyes made the call. "To go show me what unstoppable looks like." What Staff Sergeant Laura Quinn would do in the next 18 minutes would become required study at sniper schools across the U.S. military. Staff Sergeant Laura Quinn was 26. U.S. Army Special Operations, SOTIC trained, the Special Operations Target Interdiction Course, the apex of American sniper instruction. 5'6", 135 pounds of honed muscle, dark brown hair, brown eyes that could pick out a target at 1,200 meters through mirage and wind. Originally from Colorado, she'd learned to hunt with her father, a retired Delta Force operator, who taught her to shoot before she could ride a bike. Technical skill wasn't the only thing that set Lara apart. She'd left SOTIC at the top of her class. It was her knack for thinking like the people she hunted, getting inside an enemy sniper's head, predicting decisions before they were made. Over 6 years and operations on 3 continents, She'd removed 42 high-value targets, all confirmed, all at extreme range, most of them enemy snipers or commanders who thought themselves untouchable. Today, she would add 6 more. The helicopter set down on a rooftop 3 blocks from where Echo Company was pinned. Lara stepped off carrying a modified M110 semi-auto sniper rifle with a Schmidt and Bender scope, a suppressor to lower her signature, and a drag bag with 200 rounds of 7.62mm match-grade ammo. She moved to the roof edge, threw a hasty position up behind an HVAC unit, and keyed her radio. Echo 6, this is Overwatch. I'm on station. Sit rep. Captain Reed Morrison answered immediately. Overwatch, we have 18 men pinned in 3 buildings around an intersection. 7 casualties, 3 KIA, 4 WIA. Enemy snipers have us locked down. We can't move without taking fire. Copy. I need you to mark enemy firing positions every time they shoot. Use smoke if you can see the building. Verbal grid if you can't. Roger. But these shooters were ghosts. They fired and dislocated. No muzzle flash, no solid fix. Lara scanned through her scope. The intersection below was a kill zone. Open ground with several elevated positions looking down. She could see why Echo Company was trapped. 6 enemy snipers with overlapping fields of fire could control the whole area, but she was hunting a pattern. Echo 6, next time someone shoots, I need immediate direction. Don't worry about precision, just general area. Copy. 30 seconds later, a Marine tried to dash an alley and a single crack answered. He hit the ground holding his shoulder. Northeast sector, 3-story building, top floor. Lara swept her scope to that building. She didn't spot the shooter. He had already moved, but she saw what she needed. A window now broken that had been whole on her initial scan. The sniper had fired from there, and then shifted. She logged the position in her head and kept scanning. Over the next 5 minutes, 4 more shots rang out. Each time, Lara tracked the general bearing, studied the aftermath, and layered a mental map of enemy positions. Where most counter-snipers would hunt the muzzle and shoot, Lara was doing something different. She analyzed the pattern of their coverage, mapping their tactical deployment, and piecing together how they coordinated. After 5 minutes, she had what she needed. Echo 6, I have pattern recognition on enemy positions. 6 shooters in buildings creating interlocking fire. They're rotating. One fires, the others cover. Then the shooter displaces to a backup position. Professional tactics, likely Russian-trained. Can you engage? Affirmative. I need you to do something for me. In exactly 60 seconds, I need someone to attempt crossing the intersection from Building 2 to Building 3. Just a run out, get visible, then pull back to cover fast. You want us to draw fire? I want them to reveal themselves. 1 minute. Lara moved to a different spot on her rooftop, set up behind a concrete ledge, and ranged distances to the 6 buildings she'd flagged as probable enemy positions. 680 meters to the northeast, 720 to the northwest, 640 to the east, 710 to the southeast, 695 to the south, 750 to the west. 60 seconds passed. A Marine bolted from Building 2 toward Building 3, and 2 shots cracked out. One from the northeast and one from the southeast. The Marine hit the deck, clutching his shoulder, but unhurt. Lara's scope locked on the northeast building. 3rd floor, a window partly obscured by a curtain. She saw the faint outline of movement, someone repositioning after firing, and held fire. Then she swept to the southeast building, 2nd floor window with broken glass, movement behind an interior wall showing only as a shadow. She didn't shoot that one either and keyed her radio. Echo 6, visual on 2 enemy positions. Do not move yet. I need to confirm all 6 before I engage. Overwatch, we don't have time for trust me. 3 more minutes. Lara understood what most didn't. Engaging a single sniper would alert the rest. She had to identify all 6 and then take them out in rapid sequence before they could react and relocate. She studied the situation. 6 enemy snipers, coordinated coverage, professional discipline, confident they were untouchable, and that confidence was about to cost them. She started the next phase. Echo 6, I need suppressive fire on the northeast building. 3rd floor. Spray the windows. Make them think you're trying to hit them. Don't expose yourselves. Fire from cover. Copy. Engaging now. Rifle fire erupted from Echo Company's positions, rounds sparking off the northeast building. The sniper there would duck into cover and focus on the incoming fire, which meant he wouldn't see Lara. Her scope settled on that 3rd floor window. She could now make out a shape behind the wall. Someone crouched and waiting for suppressive fire to stop. She fired. The suppressed M110 cracked quietly. Through her scope, she watched the impact hit center mass. The sniper jerked and fell. 1 down, 5 to go. The other snipers didn't know yet. The suppressed shot and Charlie Company's ongoing fire, plus the fact their comrade was inside a building, hid the truth. They couldn't know he was dead. Lara was already moving to her next target. Southeast building, 2nd floor. The sniper watching the Marines for anyone who might expose themselves. She ranged the distance, 710 meters, and settled on the dark window. She waited. Patience was the sniper's greatest tool. 15 seconds later, she saw slight movement as the enemy shifted aim. She squeezed the trigger. The round crossed 710 meters in under a second and punched through the glass. The shadowy figure dropped. 2 down, 4 to go. The clock kept running. 7 minutes had elapsed and now it got harder. The remaining 4 snipers would start to notice their teammates weren't answering radio and they'd get cautious, suspicious. Lara had to speed up. Echo 6, smoke the intersection. Every grenade you've got. Copy. Smoke grenades went out. White clouds rolling across the open ground until the intersection vanished in thick fog. The enemy snipers would be straining to see through it, watching for Marines trying to move under cover. Lara used the distraction, moved to the opposite side of the rooftop, and set a new position with a different angle. From there, she cleared sight lines to 3 of the 4 remaining enemy positions. Northwest building, 720 meters. She'd seen muzzle flash from that top floor corner earlier. Her scope swept the windows. A curtain moved. Someone inside was checking the smoke. She fired. The round punched through the curtain and someone fell. 3 down, 3 to go. 10 minutes gone. Now the enemy knew something was wrong. Teammates weren't answering calls, and the tactical picture was shifting. Lara watched the next one make a mistake. East building, 640 meters. A figure popped briefly into a window, likely repositioning. She was ready and fired the instant she saw movement. The figure dropped. 4 down, 2 to go. 12 minutes elapsed. The last 2 were professional enough to realize they were being hunted. Lara watched them run textbook counter-sniper procedures, avoiding windows, using inner rooms, breaking line of sight. But they slipped, tactically. They tried to exfiltrate. South building, 695 meters. Lara saw a figure sprinting through a hallway visible through connected windows, heading for a stairwell to escape. She tracked, led the target, and fired. The figure stumbled and fell in the corridor. 5 down, one left. 14 minutes in. The final sniper was the smartest. West building, 750 meters, the toughest, longest shot. He'd stayed hidden and hadn't fired since Lara began. He waited, betting she'd move on, hoping to slip away. But Lara knew he was still there, a professional instinct honed by years of hunting hunters. She studied the West building. 4 floors, many windows, dozens of potential hiding spots. Finding one person actively concealed would take time she didn't have, so she flipped the script and made him find her. Echo 6, I need a distraction. Send someone into the intersection. Full run across open ground. Overwatch, that's suicide. If there's still a shooter, there is, but he won't shoot your man. He'll be looking for me. Trust me. Silence, then movement. A Marine burst from cover and sprinted across the smoke-choked intersection, fully exposed. Lara wasn't tracking him. She was scanning the West building in a precise pattern for positions that had a line on her rooftop. There, 4th floor, a window with a half-open shutter, a faint glint on the glass, a rifle scope catching sunlight. The sniper was doing exactly what Lara had predicted. He wasn't shooting the exposed Marine. He was hunting the counter-sniper who'd killed his 5 mates. Amateur mistake. You don't hunt someone who's already hunting you. Her crosshairs settled on that window. 750 meters, the longest shot of the engagement, an upward angle, wind pushing left to right at about 8 miles per hour. She dialed for all variables, found her natural respiratory pause, and squeezed. The M110 barked. Through her scope, she watched the window explode. The glint vanished. Moments later, a rifle tumbled from the window and clattered onto the street below. 6 down, 0 to go. 18 minutes and 12 seconds from wheels down to final shot. Lara keyed her radio. Echo 6, all enemy snipers neutralized. You're clear to move. Confirm by attempting intersection crossing. 30 seconds of silence. Then a Marine eased into the intersection. No shots. He walked right across. Still nothing. Captain Reed Morrison's voice returned, disbelief plain. Overwatch, intersection is clear. No fire. How many did you get? All of them. 6 confirmed. 6 in 18 minutes. How the hell? Pattern recognition, tactical prediction, and patience. Captain, they were good, but they were trained to fight people who react. I hunted them instead. Back at the tactical center, Lieutenant Colonel Dana Reyes reviewed Charlie Company's helmet cam footage and the after-action report. 6 enemy snipers, all confirmed killed by precise long-range fire. Eliminated in 18 minutes and 12 seconds by a single counter-sniper who'd studied their pattern and methodically dismantled them. Lara sat across from Reyes, methodically cleaning her rifle with the practiced precision of someone who'd done it 10,000 times. Staff Sergeant Quinn, Reyes said slowly. I've been in the military 22 years. I've worked with scout snipers, Delta snipers, SEAL snipers. What you just did, I've never seen anything like it, ma'am. They were well trained, Reyes continued, but predictable. They used a standard Russian multi-sniper Overwatch doctrine. Interlocking fields of fire, coordinated coverage, displacement after shots. It's devastating against conventional forces that don't recognize the pattern. But you understood it. Yes, ma'am. Because I studied it. And because I don't think like a Marine Scout sniper or most special operations snipers. I think like an enemy sniper. I understand their decision trees, their tactical psychology. Once I see the pattern, I can predict positions and turn their coordination against them. Reyes pulled up the tactical replay. Walk me through it. How did you identify all 6 positions so quickly? Lara set down her cleaning rod and moved to the screen. First principle, coordinated overwatch isn't random. It follows a tactical geometry, overlapping fields, mutually supporting positions, planned escape routes. Once I recognized that doctrine, I could predict where they'd be based on terrain. She pointed at the map. 6 shooters covering 1 intersection requires 3 primary positions with backups for each. I picked the 3 buildings that offered best coverage: northeast, southeast, and west. Then I looked for backup positions within displacement range: northwest, east, and south. But how did you know someone occupied each position without seeing them? Process of elimination and pattern confirmation. When I had Echo 6 draw fire, I tracked which positions answered. 2 shots meant 2 primaries lit up. The others stayed quiet. Their discipline confirmed their existence. If there had only been 2 snipers, they'd both have fired to maximize suppression. Reyes studied the timeline. You killed the first one under suppressive fire. They never knew he was hit. Correct. I needed to eliminate at least 2 before they realized they were being counter-sniped. Once I took out the first 2, the rest went defensive, and that predictability let me trap them. They'd either reposition or try to exfil. I covered both. The last one was waiting for me. Yes, ma'am, he was the smartest. He realized someone was hunting them and tried to flip the hunt. But he committed a tactical mistake. He prioritized finding me over keeping his position secure. When I handed him a bait target he believed would draw me out, he couldn't stop himself from trying to spot me. And that's when he revealed himself. Reyes leaned back. 18 minutes, 6 enemy snipers that had pinned down an entire company. And you made it look effortless. It wasn't effortless, ma'am. It was pattern recognition, tactical prediction, and flawless execution. The same method I use for any counter-sniper operation. How many times have you done missions like this? Brooklyn paused. This was my 7th multi-target counter-sniper mission. My prior best was 4 targets in 23 minutes in Afghanistan. Today's 6 in 18 is a personal record. Reyes pulled up the classified file portions she was allowed to see. Your SOTIC instructors wrote you have an almost supernatural knack for predicting enemy sniper behavior and placement. Your Delta Force evaluator said you think like the enemy better than anyone they've met. Your last unit commander called you the most effective counter-sniper asset in the U.S. military. Lara gave a small shrug. I just understand how snipers think, ma'am. Most people don't know snipers are predictable. We're trained to follow doctrine that places us according to clear tactical principles. Learn those principles, and you can predict behavior. You say you think like one of them. I am one of them, ma'am. I'm a sniper who specializes in hunting other snipers. I understand them because I am them. I just think one step further ahead. 3 days later, Lara stood before 30 U.S. military snipers at a special operations compound, briefing them on counter-sniper tactics. The room held Marine Scout snipers, Army snipers, some Rangers, even a couple of SEALs, all seasoned shooters there to learn from the woman who'd taken out 6 enemy snipers in 18 minutes. Counter-sniper work is fundamentally different from regular sniper missions, she began. Hunting ordinary targets, infantry leaders, technical operators, means stalking people who don't know you're there and aren't searching for you. But when your quarry is other snipers, you're hunting people trained the same way you are, who understand the same tactical principles and are actively hunting counter-sniper threats. She clicked to the first slide showing the Aldara intersection. 3 days ago, I engaged 6 enemy snipers trained by Russian military advisors. They used a textbook multi-sniper overwatch doctrine that's devastating against conventional forces. Echo Company had been pinned for nearly an hour, and 3 Marine Scout snipers couldn't get a reliable counter-sniper solution. A Marine raised his hand. "Ma'am, no disrespect, but how did you succeed where 3 experienced Scout snipers couldn't?" Good question. The difference is methodology. Most counter-sniper tactics focus on detection. Optics, thermals, acoustic sensors to find a shooter, then engage once detected. That works on amateurs or lone shooters. But against a coordinated multi-sniper team, detection-first tactics break down. By the time you spot one shooter and engage, the others have already picked up your muzzle and you're taking fire from multiple directions. She clicked to the next slide and said, "My method is prediction-based. Rather than hunting for visible shooters, I analyze terrain and the tactical picture to predict where professionals must be if they're following doctrine. I search for the pattern of coverage, which sectors they control, which angles are covered, what fields of fire they're establishing. Once I grasp the pattern, I can predict positions with high accuracy even without direct visual contact." A student asked, "How do you know they're using professional doctrine? What if they're just randomly placed?" Brooklyn replied, "Random placement can get lucky for a shot or two, but it can't sustain area control. If a sniper team holds terrain for an extended period, they're using doctrine, which makes them predictable." She walked the room through the Aldara operation step by step. How she identified 6 positions by pattern analysis, confirmed them with controlled provocation, then removed them in sequence using psychological prediction of how they'd react. The crucial insight, she said, is that snipers are trained to think tactically, to choose optimal actions from battlefield geometry and threat assessment. That training makes them deadly, but also predictable to someone who understands the doctrine and thinks one move deeper. A SEAL sniper raised his hand. "Ma'am, you said you think like an enemy sniper. What does that mean in practice?" Brooklyn nodded. "On a counter-sniper mission, I don't ask where I would shoot from. I ask where my enemy would shoot from given their training, culture, and tactical preferences. Russian-trained teams favor elevated positions with clean escape routes and displace aftershots. Middle Eastern shooters often stay near exit routes to exfil quickly in urban terrain. U.S.-trained snipers typically prioritize optimal range and concealment over escape because we operate with available fire support." She clicked to another slide showing various sniper positions. Understanding these cultural and training differences lets me predict behavior. Identifying the disciplined fire patterns and coordinated coverage told me the Aldara team was Russian-trained. So I expected backup positions within 50 to 100 meters of primaries, a preference for height over concealment, and displacement after the 3rd or 4th shot. Details that let me anticipate locations and responses. The briefing ran 2 hours as Brooklyn stepped through 5 counter-sniper operations she'd run, unpacking the tactical psychology behind each engagement, the pattern recognition that found enemy shooters, and the prediction-based method that made her effective. At the end, a senior instructor, a veteran Marine Scout sniper with 20 years' experience, approached. "Staff Sergeant," he said, "I've been teaching snipers for 15 years. This prediction-based tactical psychology, we don't teach that. We teach detection and engagement. But what you're describing beats detection against professionals. Would you help develop curriculum?" Brooklyn considered. "I can teach the principles, but not everyone will apply them. It demands a specific mindset. You have to think like your enemy to get inside their decision process. and that's not a natural skill for most. How did you develop it? My father was Delta Force. He spent 20 years hunting people who hunted Americans, and he taught me from childhood that the most dangerous enemies are the ones who can predict your moves. He drilled me to think 2 steps ahead, to see not just what I would do, but what my enemy expects and how to exploit that expectation. The instructor nodded slowly. That's not standard military training. That's almost like a chess grandmaster thinking several moves ahead. Exactly, Lara replied. Chess with rifles, where the pieces are real people and the consequences are real deaths. You must know the rules your opponent follows. Predict their next 3 moves and position yourself to exploit the one they don't see coming. 6 months later, Lara was back in the field, this time in Eastern Europe, where Russian forces were operating in a contested zone and their sniper teams were inflicting heavy casualties on NATO. Intelligence had tracked a particular Russian sniper cell that had killed 15 NATO soldiers in the previous 2 weeks, a highly skilled group becoming a strategic problem. Lara was tasked to find and eliminate them. She spent 3 days studying their pattern. They worked in pairs, rotated strikes by operating 2 days from one area before shifting to a different sector, and favored industrial zones with complex sightlines. Patient, disciplined, and brutally effective. On day 4, Lara predicted their next strike based on their prior hits and the tactical geometry of the remaining high-value zones. She got into position on a rooftop overlooking the predicted zone 12 hours before their expected window. At 0640, she spotted them, 2 figures moving into an abandoned factory 800 meters away, moving carefully with proper tactical discipline and counter-surveillance checks, but not checking for someone who had predicted their location 12 hours earlier and had been waiting since before dawn. Lara watched them set their hide, watched them settle and scan for targets in the NATO-controlled area below, then removed them with 2 shots 8 seconds apart before they ever saw her. The mission was so clean and perfectly executed that NATO forces didn't even know a counter-sniper mission had occurred until Lara filed her after-action report. The Russian team that had killed 15 NATO soldiers was gone, eliminated by a single counter-sniper who'd understood their pattern well enough to be waiting before they arrived. Years later, retired from active service and serving as a senior instructor at SOTIC, students would study the Aldara operation, 6 enemy snipers eliminated in 18 minutes, as a textbook example of prediction-based counter-sniper doctrine. But Lara always told them the same thing. That operation wasn't about being the best shooter or having the finest gear. It was about understanding the enemy better than they understood themselves. The 6 snipers she killed that day were professionals who made very few tactical errors. But they made one critical mistake. They assumed nobody could outthink them, predict their hiding spots better than they could conceal them, or launch a counter-sniper operation before they had time to react. She paused to make sure every student was tracking. They weren't indestructible. They were just used to fighting opponents who didn't know how to hunt snipers. The moment they met someone who understood their doctrine and thought one move ahead, their training stopped being an advantage and became a liability. Predictable is fatal in sniper warfare. That was the real lesson. Not the 18 minutes. Not the 6 confirmed kills. Not the geometry or the pattern recognition. The true takeaway was that the most dangerous person on a battlefield isn't always the best shot or the oldest veteran. Sometimes it's the one who comprehends you better than you comprehend yourself, who can foresee your next move and is already positioned to exploit the choice you didn't even know you were about to make. That's what Lara Quinn understood better than almost anyone in uniform. And that's what made her unstoppable against foes who thought themselves unstoppable. She knew a secret most never learn. Everyone follows rules, and once you know the rules, you can predict someone and then hunt them. The Aldara operation became legend not for speed or body count, but because Lara proved something most tacticians dismissed. A single operator with the right mindset could dismantle an entire enemy sniper network before the network realized it was being hunted. Command had labeled those 6 snipers unstoppable. Intelligence had flagged them as high-value targets needing a platoon to kill. 3 experienced Marine Scout snipers had spent an hour trying and failed to find a solution. Lara had studied them for 7 minutes, predicted positions in 3, and eliminated all 6 in 18. The after-action report went classified and out to every Special Operations sniper unit in the U.S. military. The tactics she used, pattern recognition over raw detection, prediction over reaction, psychological analysis over pure technical edge, became core principles in advanced counter-sniper training. Her method spread to SOTIC, Marine Scout Sniper School, SEAL sniper courses, and allied forces. Yet Lara remained largely unknown outside classified circles. No public medals, no press releases. She preferred it that way. The quiet professional who proved that intelligence and patience beat skill and coordination when the mindset was right. In the end, the deadliest tool wasn't the rifle, the scope, or years in the saddle. It was the ability to think one move ahead of someone who thought they were already thinking ahead of you. Thank you for watching.